What are we doing, y'all? I just, some days you just kind of feel like you got to let it all out. You got to rant a little bit. Well, this is one of those days. And I'm going to turn this way because the sun is really bothering me. So tell me down in the comments, how are you guys making it? I'm working a full-time job. I'm trying to start a small business. And I'm on YouTube trying to get this channel to be monetized. Every day I get up at 6 a.m. I go to a job that does not utilize my full potential. I have a good job. I work for the state. I make good money. My husband works for the state. He makes good money. Combined, I guess we're doing better than most, but it just seems like, we get paid one day and the next day we might have $200 left, for another 2 weeks, or, if we're lucky, 400. We were supposed to get a 2% raise. We usually get 2% raise every year. Last year, so where I work, there's different buildings, okay? And an RN doing the same job, just doing it over in a different building, got a 20% increase last year. Still got another 5 on top of that. I think it was 5%, or maybe it was 2% last year. I can't remember. But when they got their 20% increase, they also got back pay. So they all got a nice chunk of change to go with that. I don't understand why that didn't apply across the board for all of the RNs, especially the ones doing the same job. One of the administrators, I'm just going to call her an administrator. I'm not going to give away her position. We were asking her about that and if she was asking for the same for us. So if you're familiar with governmental work, pretty much work on a budget every year. So you have to get a budget approved for your next year. She didn't want to give it any of her time because she didn't think that it would get passed. Well, it did. So she basically just screwed the rest of us over because she didn't go to bat for us. But I can tell you that those higher up are getting an increase in their pay. They're actually even getting a cost of living raise, while the rest of us get zero, zilch. I started Etsy. My husband was kind enough he saw me getting interested in woodworking and things of that nature, and it was after our grandson was transferred to the care of my niece through the DCF system. She is his foster mom, and she's also adopting. So we raised him for 1.5 years. So after that 1.5 years, I kind of wanted to find a hobby. So my husband, for Christmas last year, brought me a laser engraver, which is a great source of income, but I am still trying to work a full-time job. So I made a bunch of stuff. I learned how to use the laser engraver. My favorite thing to make is the round wood signs for, like welcome signs for your door, your front door. And so that's what I've been making. And I opened an Etsy shop. So that was in December. Y'all, I have sold 4 items on Etsy. And that was after I decreased my cost, because I was coming in just under what other people are selling the same products for. And I came in cheaper to them, and I sold 4 items. I'm paying out more to Etsy than I'm bringing in. I'm paying them more money to advertise my products, or to not advertise my products, but to post my products than what I'm bringing in. So in that aspect, I'm negative. It wouldn't be worth taking my items to a craft fair, because the house that we rent for $1,800 a month in this college town is not big enough for me to store a lot of product. So it wouldn't be financially smart for me to, number one, pay the application fee and the fee to rent a space, pay for the hotel room to go, the food, the gas, all of that stuff. So that wasn't feasible. So now I have products sitting in my garage. I started YouTube. And yeah, YouTube is fun, and I'm having a good time with it, don't get me wrong. However, to get monetized, it is a lot of work, y'all. It is a lot of work. You have got to learn how to manipulate the algorithm. So, and let me just throw in this disclaimer. So when you're watching a YouTube video and that person doing the video asks you to like and subscribe, there's a reason behind it. It's not a competition thing between us. It's because in order for the algorithm to pick up that people are actually watching and enjoying the videos, you have to hit the like button. You have to subscribe. We have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours before we're even eligible to earn any money on YouTube. So I'm grinding away at that. And I feel like I am just on this hamster wheel, spinning and spinning and spinning. If I were to lose my full-time job 6 months from now and go apply for SNAP benefits, do you know what I would be told? Well, ma'am, your W-2 shows that you made too much money last year. Well, no shit, Sherlock. But how is last year's W-2 going to put food on my table if I lose my job this year? But yet our politicians, you've got the demon rats over there in Washington allowing all of these illegal immigrants to come in. Now you think about it. If you work a full-time job, most of us have worked since our mid-teens. We've paid into Social Security. We've paid into Medicare our entire working lives. And through the years, through the decades, all of these illegal immigrants have come over here, and they are given SNAP benefits. They're given free health care, the Medicaid, Medicare, whatever, free housing, and have never worked. Some of them, not all of them, have never worked one day in this country, have not paid 1 red cent into any of those programs. But yet they get the entitlements that we pay into for free. I see 70 and 80-year-olds working in Walmart or bagging groceries at a grocery store just to put food on their table, because they're not getting enough Social Security. At 70 and 80 years old, that age group started working well before you and I did. They are the main group of people who should not be struggling in America right now. They should be enjoying their later years, but they're not. You've got politicians like Pelosi and AOC and Chucky Schumer and Republicans too, that go in not much more better off than you or I, and they get in there and they become millionaires. Tell me how that happens. And then we get them in there and we can't get them the hell out. You've got people like Bill Gates out there manipulating ticks so that you and I can be infected with some bullshit virus that makes us allergic to meat, so that then if we want meat, we have to purchase his lab-grown stuff. And that man is walking around in this country free as a bird. He's no better than these people over in the Middle East that are, you know who I'm talking about. I lost co-workers. I lost a good friend of mine. I lost my sister-in-law over the vid BS and Fauci. I lost co-workers because they decided to lead by example and to take the jabby jab to be an example because they're in the healthcare field, and they drop dead. But Fauci is still walking around this country scot-free. Nancy Pelosi has manipulated the stocks, the stocks. See, this is how I get when I get aggravated. And she's a millionaire many times over. So in order for, my husband and I were sitting down over the weekend and we looked at his retirement plan and what we were going to do, because he can go into the drop plan. And we were trying to figure out if he should do it this year or next year. And we decided that he'll go into the drop next year, because that would put him at full, retiring at 65, and he could, we wouldn't go a year without health care. Because he wants me to be able to retire when he does. But, I was a stay-at-home mom for years. I didn't go to work until, I went to nursing school at 35. So I got out in the working field at 37 and wasn't really making that much money until probably 6 or 7 years later. So my retirement is shit. I was married at the time, and then he wanted to dick around and have an affair. So, I went to nursing school and got a job, and it was a little bit too late for me. And if I had not found a new love, a new husband, what would happen to me in my 70s? My mom passed away this year in February at 76 years old. I don't want to retire at 72 because I want to live life. People my age, I'm in my mid-50s, moving into my late 50s, and people can't afford a damn vacation, y'all. But and I look at it like this. It's kind of our fault because we've been so complacent for so many decades, and we have allowed the elections to go unchecked, and we have just voted for whoever. We haven't voted for all or for anyone at all, and we haven't spoken out when we needed to speak out. What are we doing? I don't even have faith in Trump anymore. I don't have faith in anybody in the government at all anymore. I work in a government job, and I can't even earn enough PTO to take a vacation. And even if I did, where the hell could I go on what I make now after I pay my bills? I don't even go get my hair done anymore. I don't go get my nails done anymore because you know what? Putting food on the table and paying the electric bill is more important. But there was a day when I made less money and I could do more. Trump keeps talking about balancing the budget. How about you don't worry about that shit and just start giving us some money so we can climb out of these holes that we're in? I know I'm angry and I'm ranting, but I know I'm not the only one. I see it all the time on TikTok. I can't even afford to move in order to find a cheaper place to live. I can't afford to buy a home. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I know you guys are too. We're working full-time jobs. We're paying our taxes. We're voting. We're doing everything that we're supposed to do. And we are the ones that are getting pooped on. I see all these kids going out, these teenagers, and going in and destroying restaurants. People out in places like California can shoplift up to $999 and not a damn thing happens to them. But I live in Florida, and if I go steal a candy bar, my ass goes to jail. Now, granted, I would rather live here in Florida than California, but it's the principle that I'm talking about, y'all. So, I don't know, y'all. If any of y'all out there have any ideas on what we can do, please share down below in the comments. I think I'm going to start, just to kind of clear out my garage, maybe at the end of my videos, I may highlight one of the signs that I make to see if you guys, want to purchase it. I'm not charging an arm and a leg. Etsy is selling these things for 60 bucks a piece. I do them for 30. I paid my dues in that area too. I did custom signs for 2 local businesses. And you know how much money I made, like actually profited off of each of those? $10. Because I wanted to get my name out there. And they were nice looking signs. I didn't do a shit job. I did it right. One of them I had to do 3 times because I'm so particular. I made 10 bucks. I charged them $10 more than the materials, than what the materials cost to make it. I just got through making a bunch of signs for my grandson's t-ball team. I made little sports signs with their names to go in their bedrooms. And one of the moms wants 3 more signs for her other kids who play different sports. So I told her I'd do it for 25 bucks. I already have the materials. So if I make 3 for her, that's $75. But guys, something's got to give. I don't know what, and I don't know what we're supposed to do. I honestly think it's probably too late at this point for us, even as a collective, to do anything. But to think that any politician is going to help us is ridiculous. They don't go into politics anymore to serve the people. We're electing who we want to go in and become millionaires, is all it is. I think what we need to propose to Trump is that we stop paying Social Security, we stop paying Medicare, and we start being responsible for our own retirement, and we do what we want to with that money. If we want to invest it, let us invest it. If we want to put it into a high yield savings, we do that, or a CD. And if we want to retire early, we manage that. We don't, you know, I don't want it to be something that the government manages, because then they'll come back and say, well, if you retire early, you have to pay a penalty. You know why they do that? Because if you retire early, they're going to miss out on the money that you would be making and paying taxes on. It's robbery is what it is. We need to stop paying Social Security, stop paying Medicare, and stop paying income taxes at all. Let us manage our own health care, our own, well, maybe not our health care, but our own retirement, our own savings. So anyway, guys, if you guys have any other ideas out there, let me know. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Even if it's a sucky video, I know it's gone long, but it does help. And that's why you see a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s starting YouTube, is because they're trying to make more money. And I'm going to do a video here pretty soon. I'm going to show you some of the items that I've made with my laser engraver, and I'll put links to them, to the Etsy store, in the link, but I'll let you guys know when that's coming out, okay? But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas, if you're struggling too, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.